8:38, media availability. So we're a week away from the end. So we're getting close.
Half down and 5 more to go.
Yeah, I have questions.
I'm told you got some new revenue estimates this morning. Can you tell me what they said?
I haven't, maybe we get Senator Stevenson, I haven't seen him yet, I haven't heard of him. Pardon me?
He's coming, Senator.
Oh, he's coming, so we'll hold that for the money guy, okay?
So, okay, but there are new revenue estimates?
I have no idea.
Well, I'd heard the rumors that we might have him, he hasn't conveyed that, so yes, you know, I don't know, we'll know when he gets here, okay?
When he said that to you, was he smiling or frowning?
I haven't heard from Senator Stevenson, so I don't know. Let's hope he's smiling when he walks in.
How go the budget negotiations? I'm told that they were ready, but then things changed this morning over in the House, and they may not be ready until tomorrow.
Yeah, we've done a lot of work on the budget. Again, probably the biggest thing we're concerned about is that, I'm trying to get a number, I haven't heard what that number is that every year our general fund needs outpace our general fund revenues, and that's why we're looking at tax reform.
Are things being revised downward? That's what I'm hearing from a lot of chairs saying that what they requested to the committee is starting to be revised downward.
Yeah, well, we had the downward revision in the budget numbers a few weeks ago. But again, what happens is that we have a certain percentage of our higher ed that's paid for out of our education budget. And each year we push more of our higher ed into the budget. And that gives us more general fund money. And we're getting close to the point where 100% of higher ed will be paid for out of the education fund. At that point in time, we won't have general fund money to fund. So that's one of the issues that we're dealing with, and that's the reason for tax reform. So,
And speaking of tax reform, I guess we're waiting for a fiscal note on the House bill before it's heard on the floor over there.
yeah, I'm waiting for the House. So, you know, that's they've got their hands full. They're doing a good job and trying their best to get a bill out today, or a substitute, I've heard. Okay.
You said you wanted a committee hearing for that bill. You want it to go through that process. Is there going to be enough time?
Well, I think next week we've got committee hearings all Monday, so we should have time for a hearing then. We'd like to get the bill tomorrow.
So long as we have it before the end of the day tomorrow, there would be no problem to get in a committee hearing Monday.
The other thing is, by our rules, we can always, in the last 3 days, it's a House bill, so we can actually have a public hearing on that anytime between now and midnight next Thursday.
Yeah, so we could, not unusual to stay late that last week, so we could have, we could notice up and have a committee hearing later in the week too. But, so.
There seems to be a lot of changes in the substitute that we haven't seen yet, including.
Say if you've seen it.
Yeah.
Tell us
yeah.
about
it. Tell us
I've been
what's in it.
writing about
That
what I'm
happens
told
a
is
lot.
in it.
Okay. Let
So
us
what's
know.
everybody telling you is it?
Yeah.
Local option tax is out.
Yeah, I heard that.
Is that something the Senate would support? It solves some issues initially, but they're facing the same issues with the shrinking tax base as everyone else.
Again, I think you might have to take it in pieces, and to try to solve the local option issue would be very difficult at this time. So I think that's not a bad idea to take it out. I do think they're going to have to deal with the issue, and so I think that's something that will probably something that can be done after the fact. So, anything else you're hearing?
Well, we've heard about the split. They're bifurcating the tax base,
Yeah.
which causes some people some concern. Is that a worry for you at all?
Well, if you take the local option out, it caused that to happen. I think it can be done, and I think it's I don't think that's insurmountable in today's age. Senator Hemmert, you, as well as Senator Stevenson, you collect sales tax. If you bifurcated the rate, does that cause a problem?
Well, so this bifurcated rate wouldn't affect the any one payer. I mean, well, it does affect the payer, but it's the collector that has to deal with it, but the collector doesn't have a bifurcated rate, meaning what I do would always be one rate. What someone else does would be a different rate, but as far as a business having to deal with bifurcated rates, it's on your invoice, but at the same time, no provider, well, it's not entirely true. Some providers would have a bifurcated rate on their invoices like an auto mechanic for parts and services, but they're doing this today because they charge sales tax on their parts and don't charge any sales tax on the installation service. So they're already doing it, so those who would be affected are probably doing it today already anyway.
But as a matter of tax policy, is that a concern?
We do it now.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I don't,
Well,
I don't,
yeah,
I don't
just-
think so.
We don't tax services
Walk in the
now,
gro-
and you don't
yeah,
like
no,
that.
No, we don't.
Yes.
We'll walk in the grocery store and see what happens.
I don't think it's the fact we don't like
Bifurcated.
services. I think it's the fact that I talked about the problem earlier is that our general fund budget's not staying up. So Senator Stevenson's here. They ask about revenue estimates. Do we have new revenue estimates?
We're going to have some. We don't have them yet.
Okay.
But we're going to have some. What we asked there was enough concern over whether we were dealing with a behavior, a trend, with the way taxes dropped off in December and January that we've asked for a different. Really, we'll only have just a few days on it, but see if our collections have picked up this last couple of weeks.
See if it was.
But we really don't have a number
So
yet.
when
So
do
we're
you
looking
think
at the-
will they be
Probably
out?
before the day's over. Is today the 7th?
Yes.
And they told us it'd happen by the 7th. Hopefully we'll have maybe by the end of floor time, but I haven't seen anything.
So would that adjust the amount of the, I know you hate the word surplus, but the amount of money from it was 1.3, it dropped about 200 million, that could erase some of that $200 million drop?
Could do it. We'd probably just sit down in the EAC tomorrow and make a motion to adopt the new revenue numbers, and certainly that would affect the way we're treating the budget right now.
And does that give you more money for a tax cut in this tax reform bill? The House Speaker has proposed 75 million to his caucus as well as the
It
Democrats.
could,
over
but it
there.
may go down. You know, I mean, there's always that possibility that we've asked for numbers and they may drop.
So it depends on how optimistic you are. I don't know. We'll see the numbers.
Is anyone optimistic at this point in the session?
I will be in a few minutes. I'm gonna go take 2 Excedrin.
Yeah. We talked about it in about a week, maybe. So
But President, is that where, if indeed this does show, because I know you've talked before about this, that $200 million drop maybe just being kind of an anomaly because of the point in time
Well-
that taxes were just coming in later, so you may actually go back up. If you go up, do you want to see that go to a tax cut?
we've seen a lot of revenue numbers, and I suppose my hope would be that we wouldn't spend it. That's probably my hope. Okay, no
That
matter
you-
if we have an increase, that we not spend it. Okay,
So not put it toward a
I think
larger
we'd have
tax?
to look at the numbers. Okay,
So how would you
They're
not
small.
spend it? Would you just put it back, increase the rainy day fund, or?
Could I,
Go
you
ahead.
know, we don't have to spend everything that comes in here. We really don't. We can save some of it. And there's a lot of places we could put that. We could put additional money into, for instance, Senator Melder's got a capital account for buildings, for universities. We've got other capital accounts. I think you'll see a new one opened up in this budget for state buildings. But that's a great place to put that money, and then if we have to get to it quickly in a downturn, it's an easy place to take it from.
In the past, you've just sometimes not even allocated that money. You just left it. Do you have any idea how much unallocated money is floating out there right now?
Well, you know, we kind of cleaned that up after the recession of '08. We went in and, I mean, we swept every crack we could find in 2011 and 12 to try to get the budget and get some things done. And so I don't think it would be like it was back in 2008 when the recession started, but I'm certain there's some money there. But that's what we ask our committees to do each year. And what we've done this year is we told the committees if they could find funds that were unallocated, that they could use them to work through the committee process. And so and they did a great job with that.
So just to be clear, President, on a tax cut, are you comfortable with that $75 million figure? You think that's that's where you ought to be, given everything else that's going on with the budget and
Yes.
other concerns.
So let me be clear again.
Sure.
I think the amount of tax cut should be commensurate to the type of tax policy we're able to find. As if we can find a broad-based policy that allows for our future revenues to be stable and to grow, then I think we could justify a larger tax cut. If the policy we come up with is more narrowly crafted and not as broad, I don't think that I think we wouldn't do as, in my opinion, we couldn't afford to do as large of a tax cut. Okay.
So what's being talked about now in terms of broadening the base by expanding to most services that aren't already taxed, as well as a drop in the sales tax and income tax rates with some other tax changes for income taxes, is that broad enough in your mind to justify a larger cut?
Yeah, I think I'm going to wait to see what comes out of the House. So I think we wait and see what happens. Okay.
You're going to keep us guessing, right?
Yeah. So, other questions?
Brad Wilson just stuck his head in. Do you want to invite him?
Did he?
He was
Maybe
looking for
left.
you.
He left,
He's
so.
a smart guy in and out. So.
I worked with Lisa all through prison relocation, and she can ask you the same question in 12 different ways and expect a different answer every time.
Well, we can help her with that. So anyway, that's not too
You
hard.
didn't ever fall for that trap,
Yeah,
right?
not
Never.
too hard to do. So other comments on?
Sign of a great reporter.
Yeah. Any comments, Senator Davis?
You know, I've taken a look at that, and I think probably the most draconian way, but probably a good way to look at this whole broadening the base is to take every exemption, everyone off, put it all on, and then over the next 10 years, we're going to restore just about every one of them. Because we'll do it step by step, and I believe that's where we're headed right now.
Okay.
Because over time, those that we're taxing are going to come back and they're going to give us the good reason why they need the relief. And we're going to give it to them. And so we really haven't broadened the base only for a moment.
Okay. Wow.
No
So-
optimism there.
Yeah, there we go. Anybody else with any comments?
No opposition to that.
If
What's
not,
on the
yeah.
caucus agenda today?
Senator Okerlund's not here.
Vickers.
I think we're gonna have
Vickers,
lunch.
I mean, yeah, we're going
We're
back.
having lunch, yeah.
Having lunch. So,
Are you any tax discussion planned, or are you going to hold off on that?
I
Continue
think
to hold
we'll,
off
I think we'll
until the
hold
bill
off
comes?
until we find out what the House is doing.
We were going to put on there a budget discussion, and we have met with the budget chairs this morning, but we're kind of waiting on the House. We've always, out of courtesy, released those numbers to both caucuses at the same time, where the budget is kind of tentatively landed.
Okay.
And we're not prepared to do that, so
So
that
they
will
won't
not,
either.
that's off the agenda today.
Okay, thanks. All right, thank you very much.
Great, thanks.
You bet.